Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Holly Randall Unfiltered. My guest today went from shooting amateur content to becoming an absolute powerhouse in the industry. And she is, in fact, the first German to be inducted into the AVN Hall of Fame. Welcome, Texas Patti.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
Good, really good. Yeah, thank you for having me here.
Of course. Thank you so much for coming. So let's begin with your origin story. And, you got started in Germany. So I'm really interested to hear how the adult industry is different there. So what inspired you to get started?
To be honest, I would say it was by mistake. That sounds bad, but I never planned something. It was really, I just slided into the industry. So my background is more when I met my, back in the days, future husband, right now my husband, give him a name, Patrick. So when I met Patrick back in the days, we became a couple and we were super open and we were swingers. So we had, I don't want to say an open relationship because for me personally, it's something different, but we were open to have sex with other people, point. That was the whole thing. So our whole environment were people super open-minded. We went to different parties and actually there was a couple, super nice couple. They introduced us to that. They said, listen, do you want to do a movie? I was like, I don't know. Next year, it was always like a theme party. So we saw us actually like once a year. And then they approached us again. And then Patrick, we don't do that. And then I said like, yes, we do that.
So like, it was your idea.
Yeah. And Patrick said, no. I said, yes, we do that. Why? I said, listen. And I have to say, I had a regular job. I was a dental assistant before. Patrick had a regular job. He was a seller for dental stuff. So we were both settled money-wise. It was good. We had a good life. It was really about the adventure. And then I said to Patrick, no, we do that only one time. Because right now we are young. And think about when we are like in our 70s, 80s, grandkids are playing around. And when they are gone, we're looking at us. Putting the DVD, back in the day, DVD, brand new, and the DVD player. And then look at us, both of us think, oh my God, we were so hot back in the days. That was the way everything started.
Wow. So what made you decide, like, you said no that first time, and then a full year later, you said yes. Like, what made you decide a year later that that was something you were going to try? You must have been thinking about it. In that year, right?
It was always like in our head, I would say more in my head compared to Patrick, but in my head. And in the beginning, I was just overwhelmed. I thought like, no, I'm not doing that.
Like it had never occurred to you before?
No, never.
Right, okay.
No. And there were like two people. I didn't know them. I met them at the party. And then they approached me, hey, do you want to do a porn movie? I was like, yeah, for sure. I'm not doing that. But then for sure, people a little bit better. You're more experienced even when it comes to sexual stuff. Because I would not say I was young, kind of young. For the most people, I was still old when I entered the industry. But I was like 26, 7 when I met Patrick. And I was sexual-wise really inexperienced. And after a year, I was like, oh, hey, yeah, right now I know how it works. And then I thought like, yeah, hey, that's on my bucket list. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And that's what we really think.
Okay, so then what was the next step? So you said yes. Obviously, you talked Patrick into it.
Yeah.
So what was this first porn scene that you did?
It was super random, super amateur style. And I have to tell people because when people listen to that, they think like, what? They went to a studio. Listen, we're just talking like VHS was gone. DVD just entered the market. That was the era where I'm talking about. So it was a production studio company. Actually, more a production company sells this stuff distributed to different people. And super random. It was just Patrick and me with another girl. And it was a theme about like sex therapist stuff. So we pretended, Patrick and I, we have an issue sexual wise. And so super gonzo style, not really scripted, easy peasy, 20 minutes. And that was our first thing. When I look at this right now, oh my God, really? What did I do there? But yeah, back in the days, for me, it was a big thing.
Yeah. So you actually did the scene with another girl. So
she was only a part of the scene. She was just sitting next to us, watching us, gave it as advice as a sex therapist, and I had only sex with Patrick. That was the whole first thing. And that was also like one thing I said, like, listen, if we want to do that, it's only Patrick and me. Someone else can watch, sit next to us. I don't fucking care. Just you and me.
Okay.
So that was the whole thing, yeah.
Okay, so then how did you guys feel after the scene?
I felt amazed. Patrick was like, I don't know. And then Patrick was super scared. Because again, DVD, we had back in the days, the DVD covers, usually you had like 4 scenes on one DVD. And Patrick was scared that our face would show up in front, like on the cover of the DVD. And I said, listen, nobody will see us. There are like other people on it, like, I don't fucking care. And I felt really, really good about it. Patrick was like a mix. And then 4 weeks later, we got the DVD into our mailbox. And yeah, we were the only couple on the cover. So
his nightmare came true. Yeah. Oh, no.
I was like, you know what? There are a lot of DVDs people probably will not recognize. I was like, shit. So yeah, worst nightmare came true. And and that was, I would say, really the start. Yeah.
Okay, so after this DVD came out, like, were you guys thinking about doing more?
No.
Or so it was a one and done.
It was really
you were going to move on, continue to work in the dental field. So what made you guys decide? Because obviously you did another one afterwards. Yeah.
There was a point I didn't understand the industry in the beginning completely. For me, it was just a wild, wild west. We did one scene and that's it. But what I didn't know is that if you do a scene, other people, distribution companies see you as well, other producers see you as well. And as I now know, new faces are always welcome in the industry. Mm-hmm. So, it's literally like a small family, and everyone knows each other. So they're like, oh, yeah, you shot with this couple. How are they? Yeah, they're good. Do you want to do? I don't know. Can I have your number? Yeah, sure. So production companies like called us or texted us back in the day or emailed us and said like, listen, we saw you on this and this production. Are you down for doing more? We would really love to work with you. And then it was like, one more. And yeah, this is how it ends.
And then it just continued to be one more.
It was really one more. And then it just continued. And then there was a point, I guess, in our life, like Patrick and my life, where I said, listen, it was obviously not only one DVD. We continued that. And right now we really have to think about if we want to continue it or like, cut it. That's it.
Yeah.
And then we had a big decision, and that was because my boss was about to give his office away, wanted to merge with another person, whatever. So he said like, you know what, you really have to think about it. Like if you want to take over the office, go to the university, study, and then come back and then take my office over. I would love that you do it. So I was literally sitting with Patrick together, pro and con. I was like, becoming a porn star, working and owning a dental office. What should we do? And then, obviously, we all know what happened.
You decided to sink your teeth into the porn industry?
Exactly.
Sorry,
that's so
resist.
Good. Yeah, that's actually what happened. So I skipped it because I said to Patrick, listen, we have to think about it if we are going for that. And again, I love my job. I still would love to do it because I think I just loved it. I worked 16 years in a dental office and I really loved it. But I said to him, if we do that, we are stuck. Mm-hmm. We will stay on one place in one little village where we have the office. We can't leave that. You have a huge responsibility. And I saw that over the 16 years. Like, if you want to go for vacation, you can't do anything spontaneous because your schedule is booked with patients and stuff like that. And that was really, do we want to have the adventure and maybe a higher risk, or do we want to be on the safe side? And then I said, like, no, I really want to see more. I just don't want to get stuck in one little village and sitting in this office for the rest of my life. So that was why we took this decision. Yeah.
Wow. Was there a part of you that thought maybe we'll do porn for a while, for a few years, we'll see where it goes, and then we can always come back to the dental office life? Like, was there a part of you that thought that was an option?
Because I was naive. I thought, like, this is not a huge thing. If you're doing porn, like, you can always go back. Yeah, there's no point of no return, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, we all talking about, like, porn is so much more welcome in the mainstream. It's not. I mean, we still get judged, you know that.
Yeah.
And to go back, it's hard. I didn't know that at the beginning, but I was also ever with Patrick together, a person, there's no, like, I do it a little bit. I'm all in.
Yeah.
And I have a goal, and I have to reach that goal.
Yeah.
Before that, I will not stop.
Yeah.
So it was pretty obvious that this is not a thing for, like, the next 2 years, and then I go back to normal.
Was there any, like, milestone that you reached in your career where you realized, like, okay, this is it. This is definitely the career path that I'm going to follow for the rest of my life. This is something that I was made for.
I would say in the beginning, I had a couple of milestones, because my first convention, I don't know, 16, 17 years ago in Germany.
Was it Venus, Berlin?
Yeah, exactly. The Venus in Berlin.
Which, by the way, I only just recently learned all the fans can go naked to.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's great. I love that. Everyone can be naked. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So went there. I had, I would say, my own little booth. Not really. I have a little, like, where I can sign. It was the first time that I printed out autographs for myself. And I printed, I don't know, 1,000. I took all 1,000 back home because nobody knew me. I was so like,
that is my greatest fear. Like, I've never signed at a booth before. And I am convinced that if I did that, that would happen to me. Like, nobody would come, nobody would want my autograph. And I would
I don't believe that.
Oh my God, I'm sure.
No,
I can't. Like, I would just be like, that person's like, yeah, I can't.
I mean, it is hard. Don't get me wrong, because I signed at the booth from a huge company back in the day. So they had, like, these exclusive stars, and I was just a plus whatever.
Yeah.
I was just an add-on, I would say. There was, like, a long line for all of those girls.
Yeah.
But not me.
Yeah.
And then some people came up at me, and I really tried to keep my smile. And people came up to me and like, "Can you do a picture of us?" I was like, yeah. So, the first years were like, fuck. And then my biggest goal when the convention was over is that, like, I want that people recognize me. I want that people staying there waiting to talk to me. I really want to have that attention. So at that point, it was like, that's my goal. And then for sure, it takes a little bit to establish your name and stuff. And then, I reached that goal. I worked for a big company in Germany, adult company as well, but they also had a TV channel. So it was more like documenting things, went to different events, interviewed different people, still like active in front of the camera, but I had like a couple of my own series, and it was really, really nice. So that gave me also like a huge push in my career. So I had a couple of milestones, and I reached them, and I was every time never like, okay, great. I was like, cool, next.
Yeah. You know, there's a lot of controversy around what is a good age to start porn at, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who believe that 18 is too young, which of course is the age that one can start porn at. You started a little bit later, as you said.
Correct.
Are you glad that you started later, or do you wish that you had started earlier? And how do you feel about the age of 18 as the age that you can start?
I think the
porn?
age of 18 is way too young.
Mm.
And maybe some people will hate me for that, to saying that, but I really think, yeah, it's way too young. With 18, don't want to say everyone, but the most girls are too young with the age of 18. I would really love that they could only enter with 25.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I think of myself, when I was 18, I don't know about shit.
Yeah.
I had sex for sure. Was it good sex? No. Could I say it when I was 18? No, because I didn't know. I didn't know what else is there. And I think also if you're 18, you're unexperienced, you listen to people differently, especially, I don't know, when they are older or when they have something to say in the industry, when they are big players. And the influence what people can make to younger people in the industry is super huge, even if it's not on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think 25 would be a great age. I think it will never happen, but yeah, I really take when Patrick and I, when we produce in Europe, I always take care of that the people are older. I know it's a good selling point.
Because isn't the age of consent 16 in some countries?
Not for sex, though. In general, yeah. Like
Okay.
between two people, for example, Germany, it's 16.
Yeah.
If two people, I'm not talking about someone is 50 and the other is 16,
Yeah.
right? But if like two teenagers have sex and both are like over 16, it's legal. It's not against the law. Like for sure, both have to do the consent. But yeah, it's legal. It's fine. Nobody can complain about this. But to showing up for in front of camera, it's different. It's still like 18 in Europe, and I think it's just too young.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would love that they are older.
Somebody was telling me, I think it was 16 maybe at some point before the internet. Or something like that.
Oh, yeah, that could be because there was a huge issue. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I think it was 16, like before the internet came along, because I remember somebody saying that, like, because, there was the whole Tracy Lords scandal, who was 16, but like her content could still be distributed in somewhere in Europe, but it couldn't be distributed anywhere here.
Yeah.
Because 16 was obviously a minor, but there were some countries in Europe where it was like okay or something.
I would not.
No, I agree with you. I
don't know, but yeah. I mean, for me, I started. Let's say 26, 27 was my age. Mm-hmm. Do I wish I were younger? Yes and no. Yes, in the meaning of I could achieve so much more. Mm-hmm. Thinking wise, mental, what? No. Yeah. It was a great age. Yeah. I had my experience. I started this whole journey. I got offers for anal so often. I didn't shoot anal at the beginning because I was like, no, that's between my husband.
Yeah.
Really, I felt like this and I didn't want to do it. So I didn't.
Yeah.
And I think when I were 18 at that point, probably.
Yeah.
Someone
might have said yes.
Could talk me into it.
Yeah, it's harder to establish boundaries when you're younger.
Correct. And this has only something to do with your life experience. Yeah. And it's also like not a bad thing to say no. But if you're 18, you sit differently. Mm-hmm. You're a little bit like, I don't know. You have the fear that if you say no, they will never call you again. They will never book you again. Something like this. Yeah. And this is a huge difference. If you
there's always some 18-year-old who's going to do it.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, for me personally, really a big issue.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in general, I don't regret that I started so late because this is also a reason why I'm still in the industry because I only did things. I mean, there are a couple of things that are like, yeah, I would not do it again. But hey, I did it. I signed up for it. Would I do it again? No. But there are other things I would never, ever experience without the industry. Would I do it again? Yes, 100%. I'm down for it.
Yeah.
So there are like, in the majority is really, happy about it, happy that I joined the industry so late. And it's sometimes a good thing to say no.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break and then we will be right back. Summer is here, and whether you're looking for a hot new fling or trying to reignite that spark on your couple's getaway, Blue Chew has your back, or your front. Blue Chew delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in a chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. No awkward doctor's visits, no pharmacy lines, just fast, discreet delivery straight to your door. It's like room service for your love life. Want to turn your summer romance into a sweaty, all-night story worth retelling? Blue Chew helps you stay ready, so you never have to say, rain check. Make life easier by getting harder and discover your options at BlueChew.com. And they've got a special deal for my listeners. Try your first month of Blue Chew for free when you use promo code HOLLY. Just pay $5 shipping. That's promo code HOLLY at BlueChew.com. And visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And thank you, Blue Chew, for sponsoring the podcast. Hey guys, welcome back. All right, so Patti, obviously you are German. What's the biggest difference between American sets and German sets?
There is not really any difference. I know you would love to hear something else, but no. Actually, it's really the same. Mm-hmm. We have the same setup. We have a camera guy, sound guy, sometimes people who take care of the wardrobe, makeup artists are there. So it's actually really everything the same. Mm-hmm. I would say it depends for which company. I would say the scripts are more easier written down because in Europe, I would say everyone is speaking English, but not in a really good way. Mm-hmm. So to get a Spanish guy, a German girl, a Czech guy, and another guy, it's a fucking mess, right? Because they're all like this heavy, hard accents and stuff like that. This is the only difference. So most of the times, I mean, obviously, because of my age, the most of the time I'm shooting this MILF scenes. So I'm the talker.
Yeah. The one I actually shot in, I used to go to Prague every year and shoot. So I've shot in Europe a few times. And honestly, like, the biggest difference that I noticed was that the girls didn't generally douche over there. They just took a shower before the scene. That was like the biggest difference that I saw. But otherwise, everything was pretty much the same.
That's true because it changed though, but
I actually couldn't find douche there.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to say.
I couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah. No, because it's not a thing there.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I experienced here this the first time that a producer, I don't want to say call me up, but he was literally like, can you go to the bathroom? I was like, why? It's like there is
girly stuff. Can you do the girly stuff? That's what
I was like, what
it.
is girly stuff? I didn't know. So I didn't understand what he is, what that meant. And then someone explained me finally. And I was like, oh, so it's that? Why? Is it because for me, it's a natural thing. So if there is a little bit like white thing on it or whatever, it's like just literally from your pussy. It shows you, yes, I'm into that.
Yeah.
So literally that's what it is. But then I recognized, okay, maybe on camera it doesn't look nice because then it's like awkward. Okay, I understand. So I don't know. I took it over. So I'm doing it. It changed a little bit there, like in Czech Republic and Budapest. The most of the girls doing it as well. But
they have started doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
But it's not a thing like it is here. And you can't go to the supermarket and you have to go to a pharmacy and then you have to explain them literally what you get is more the anal version of it.
Yeah. I remember going there, and I remember going because I had just started seeing my ex-husband who was English and we were like going to have sex and I was like looking for a douche and I was like, I went to like all these stores because I was like, I'm finally going to bang this guy. And I'm like, there's no fucking douche here. And I like went up to the girl and she was like, I was trying to explain to her what it was. And she was like, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
And I was like, when you clean out your vagina, she's like, why?
Exactly. Why should we do that?
Do that here?
No.
Like, no.
No. It was really because it was just really not a thing.
Yeah.
I learned it here.
Yeah.
And then someone explained me like, oh, don't leave the thing which is already in there. Like,
you take the solution out, you just put it in the water.
I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's just not a thing.
Yeah, it is. It's strange because it's different. Like every woman figures out what works for them because I know that some women, like all the douching actually really throws off their pH balance and is very bad for them.
Correct.
So it's not necessarily a good thing to do, but it's like become so customary and typical and here in American porn. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you go here to the bathroom, it's like everything is set up.
It's all there.
Okay.
It's like a whole fucking line of douches.
Yeah.
Like,
and I would say the other difference is when you shoot in Europe, I would say the expectations are a little bit higher. So, like, it's obviously that you bring your own towel. It's obviously that you bring your own stuff with you, literally. So, and here, like, oh, do you have a towel? Do you have this? And sometimes I think, like, why don't you bring it by yourself?
I know.
I don't understand that. So, so I would say this is another topic, and I would say the European people are just more direct, which was a hard thing for me to learn here, that everyone is like super polite. Hey, we want to do pretty girls. I know we see you fucking in a bit, but your hair covering your nipple, can I put your hair away? I was like, what are you asking me? I don't understand that. In Germany, it's like, nobody asked you.
Yeah.
So, and not in a bad way, but I think it's always how you're used to things.
Yeah.
And also, like in Europe, to be honest, if you do a scene or whatever, and like the photographer or whoever is there, and let's say there's a hair on your pussy, and nobody will do a cut and say, hey, listen, we have to interrupt. There's a hair. Like the photographer's just going there, peel it off and done. And I think this is so much time saving.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love that. But I would say here, no.
No. Oh my God. No, especially now. Like, you have to ask permission before you like touch somebody.
Correct.
Yeah. The dynamic has changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
In America, there's definitely this sense that Germans are much more sexually open and uninhibited.
Yeah.
Would you say that that is true?
That's true.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think one part of it is that in German, we call it FKK. It's like the culture of being naked. That, let's say, this is not an accurate translation, but that's the meaning of it. So we have beaches. Everyone is naked. I think we just don't do such a big deal about being naked. And that makes it more okay. Nobody cares so much. And even when you grow up, for me, for example, when I grew up, I always went with my parents to nude beaches. Why? Because my mom was literally like, I don't want to run behind you with your little bikini. You're 3 years old, changing diapers, changing that. So just everyone is the same. And this is how I grew up. And this is actually how the most people in Germany grew up. Not all of them, for sure. But this is a big thing when it comes to sex. It is also because of this community who loves to be naked. It's just a normal thing to have sex. I guess that's the whole point. Because here it's so different. Like, oh yeah, you can't. Sauna, for example. If you go to a sauna in Germany, everyone is naked. And it's not a big deal. And you have days where only women and it's separated. But usually, like, it's one thing. And I think that is also the reason why we are so different when it comes to nudity, that we don't care so much about things. And then there's the legal stuff. If you have sex in public, for example, and the police is catching you, the only thing the police is tell you, like, finish quick, have fun. So actually, that's what it is. So this is also the reason why the most public stuff is shot in Europe, because I don't want to say it's legal, but it's also not illegal. Nobody will like, oh, call the police, you're going to jail or whatever. They're just,
you can be like arrested here and then be forced to register as like a sex offender.
I know.
Which is literally one of the worst things that can happen to you. It'll follow you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You have to register on the sex offender registry. You have to stay like 500 feet away from schools. It's insane.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
Really crazy. So we don't have that. And I think they were just like, hey, nobody feel offended. You're not like in the middle of the street or something, right? So you're like in a park and nobody can see you, but some people can see you. I mean, they can just go by and whatever. So it's not a really big thing. And that's the reason why the most public stuff is filmed in Europe. And that gets distributed in the internet. So what you people see is like, oh, that's in Europe, that's in Germany. They are naughty as fuck. I mean, we are, but I would say the most people would do it here as well if it's not like super against the law. That's a reason. And the other reason is also like with different peeing. I mean, the first scene I shot here, the producer asking me, do you also do the pee stuff? I was like, what? Do you do the pee stuff? I was like, why should I? Because you're German. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know that this is on my birth certificate. So it's the thing why we are famous for that, or why do all the people think Germans are doing it? Because it's legal. You can publish it. You can sell it. You can sell it to all the websites. Everyone is seeing that. They see the background, where the people are coming from, all from Germany. So Germany peeing. Done deal. So that's literally what it is.
Yeah.
This is what I think. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but yeah, we are more open-minded when it comes to nudity.
So like growing up then, you didn't obviously have like the sense of shame around sex as like most Americans have.
True.
Like, did your parents like talk to you about sex when you were a kid? Like, how'd you learn about sex? Because like the sex education is dire in this country.
I mean, I would say it's all over. We have also like in school, but then you're in an age where you have this cucumber and this condom and you think like, do I really have to do it? This is embarrassing.
So they do teach it in school.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. We have a whole fucking thing for it, which goes over years, which I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But you're in an age where your crush is sitting next to you and then you have this cucumber with this condom and you have to, oh my gosh, bad, right? But no, I grew up like really open-minded. It was never a thing. And I really like that, because for me, nudity was never like, oh, you have to be ashamed of it. And even when I grew up, there was a time when I was like 14, 15, something like that. I was like, oh, I don't want to show. It's normal. It's a normal
when
thing.
your body's changing, I think
exactly.
That's for everybody.
Yeah, your breasts are like growing and you feel different. You become a woman. And this was a point where shifting things. But then I was also like, do we still go to the nude beach? And they were like, yeah. I was like, can I wear a bikini? Sure. So you don't get judged for it, even if you're like with a family there that you have like, oh, you have to be naked. So it gave me always the freedom to be naked. And for me personally, I see, why do we wear clothes? We wear like cute dresses and pretty hair and whatever, because that's how we want to approach the other people and tell them like, hey, this is what I am. But if you're naked, you can't hide anything. We are all the same. And I really like that because I don't care if people are rich, poor, if they have a good job, a bad job, if they're married or not. I don't fucking care. And as soon as you have like jewelry or whatever, you start to judge people. Everyone is doing that. And I just don't like it. So for example, for my vacation, I always, not always, but most of the time, I go into the south of France. There's a place which is a little village. Everyone is naked there. And that's actually my vacation. And you meet all the people there. You meet like super famous actors there. You meet lawyers, surgery, everything. But you meet also like people there have a regular job and they saved the money literally for this vacation. But everyone's naked, so you can't see any difference. And that's really what I like. Yeah,
they can't like claim status by the things that they put on their body. Except for maybe surgery. Do that.
True. I never thought about this. Yeah, that's true.
So I'm actually curious then, because I feel like religion plays a huge part in this country about creating this narrative of shame around sex and sexuality. What place does religion have in Germany? Is there a lot of strong religious connotation in Germany?
I would not say so.
No?
We have religion, for sure we have it. And I have also like in Germany people who are against what I'm doing, and that's totally fine. I totally respect that. And if you're a super religion, that's maybe a thing. But I don't know. It's not here. It is really, really... Sometimes AVN, when they have the protests from like Jesus, church, I was like, oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
And I think this is also like not right because, I mean, I don't want to go too deep in it, but in my perspective, the Bible shows us everyone is equal. Why I'm not equal to you? You judge me because what I'm doing? And so it is a thing, but way less than it is here. You have a couple of them. Sometimes I get like DMs where people like, oh, you have to find to yourself. I was like, I did it already. That's what I am. And that's fine. But here it's really hardcore in my perspective. And for me also, it has nothing to do with I don't believe in God or in the church with what we are doing. Because I always say like, hey, he told me, go out there, literally fuck around and make a lot of kids. Okay, I skipped the part with the kids, but the rest I did. So I answered his calling.
Yeah, I was just wondering, because there's definitely people who are like religious, who go to church, like believe in God, but also like don't have that really strong anti-sex work, like belief built into, their doctrine. And so I was just wondering if in Germany, like people are religious, but they like don't actually care about like being anti-sex.
More that, like the last part, really. Yeah. We still have people strongly believe in whatever religion it is, but not strongly communicate against. Like, oh, this is bad. You go to hell. We don't have that so aggressively.
So I heard you say in an interview that in the U.S. you're considered a MILF, but not in Germany. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, that changed. I'm getting older as well. But when I started, it was I don't know. I would say in Germany, you were a MILF with the earliest stage you can get in is with 40 something.
I mean, it's funny because I'm sure you've seen this, like MILF has become one of the biggest categories.
I know,
in porn. Like when, I started 26 years ago, it was not a thing.
No.
You know what I mean? It was hard if you were older to
I would say it was the
get work.
opposite.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And now it's just like, I mean, that is like, MILFs are just dominating the industry, which is fantastic.
Hey, we don't complain.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so now it's like they're almost, and especially with like the faux stuff, the stepmom and the stepfather and all this kind of stuff, like scenes are sometimes so desperate for MILFs. I have shot a 26-year-old girl as a MILF before.
Right?
Like, I mean, just because she had like lip injections and breast implants, they're like, yeah, we'll make her a MILF. I'm like, she's 26.
Yeah, it's like, fucking hell. Yeah. I remember I had a scene, it's a couple of years ago when I just started here, with a girl, I think she was 22, 23. And then this is also sometimes a problem for me. I just speak what I think. And then I said like, what are you doing here? And she's like, we are shooting the scene together. I was like, I thought like this whole fucking thing sounds like two MILFs. And she was like, I am a MILF. I was like, yeah, you're not. And she was, I have a kid. I was like, yeah, in the porn world, that doesn't make you to a MILF.
Not literal.
Yeah, it was like, you still could be my child. So like, this is not work. Different in Germany. The age of MILF, different. Yeah.
Yeah. So I heard you got reprimanded at your first AVN for your outfit. Can you tell us what happened there? And they're actually like stricter than you would think at AVN. They've gotten worse too. Last year, they were very strict. Yeah. And actually, to be clear, it's not AVN. It's the casino that puts these rules, and AVN doesn't care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but it was my first AVN. Hey, listen, I thought like...
that was like Germany? Everyone could just show up naked?
Correct. I thought like, hey, that's the same like the Venus. And then someone called me up, and I thought he's just kidding because he said like, you can wear that. And I was like... Where are you from? I was like, I'm from Germany. Yeah, you can wear that here in the United States. And I thought like he's making jokes about me because my English was not so good. I didn't understand him, maybe probably, I don't know. And then when he came with the other guys to the booth, they explained me really aggressively that this is not the outfit I can wear, which is just topless. And he was like...
Were you completely topless?
Yeah. Because why not? And he said, like, you can't wear that. I was like...
Wait, you can't... Well, you weren't wearing anything.
No, a G-string. That's it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I covered my... was a little bit, like... I thought that's enough. Obviously, it wasn't. And then other people who I knew came up to me and said, like, oh, yeah, no, this is different here. You can't show your boobs.
So what did you do? Did you just put some tape over them?
No, because I also didn't have like any nipple pasties. I never understand right now I understand why they invented the nipple pasties. Yeah. Before I didn't get it. I was like, why? If there's only two things. You want to show it or not show it. If you don't want to show it, wear another dress. Point. Then I understand how it goes. So a really nice and good friend of mine borrowed me stuff from her. So I wore this and I was like, okay, I will be better prepared for tomorrow. I really didn't know.
Wow. Yeah. That is funny. So you've been married to Patrick.
Yeah.
For how many years now?
We are always struggling. So Patrick and I, we are together 20 years and we are married for 10, 11 something like this for a long time.
You guys have been together for a long time.
Yeah.
What is your secret to a long-lasting marriage? You know, a lot of people struggle with having a relationship in the adult industry, and a lot of them don't last. Obviously, that's not the case for you. What would you say what is your secret?
I think it's really, people think right now, oh my God, this is so lame. But it's really, we talk a lot. And I think we are also like on a different level because we are not like a married couple. We are also like 24/7 together. Mm-hmm. And that's next level shit. Mm-hmm. If you spend 24/7 with a person you're working with, you love, and you have like family stuff as well, it's really next level shit. Because if you survive, I count that always like in dog years and like human years, you know, I think it counts more. Because you are all the time together. If you have a, let's say, normal relationship or marriage, one of them will be out of the house. You didn't see each other for like a couple of hours because everyone is doing their job. It's not for us, for sure. When I'm on set, same. But when I'm at home, working from home, we have the same. And I think it is really, we talk a lot of stuff through. we are always super open to each other. If there's a issue or we have like concerns about stuff, there's no way to keep it for myself or himself. We really just talk about stuff. And what we always, which is maybe for people like, oh my God, how boring. But we have always one, it's a Monday. The Monday is Patrick and Patti Day. So usually we don't take any work at these days. Sometimes schedule is fucked up, but usually it's our day. We only do stuff for our own, because what people sometimes don't think through with social media and all this stuff, like you're 24/7, like on it, right? And Patrick is also super business driven, and there was also like times in our relationship it was all about work. Hey, when we go there, we can do this and this. Hey, when we do this, we can do this and this. So we always try to put everything together. And then I said, listen, we need time for us, like just doing our stuff without camera. And this is always the day. So if people remember, the Monday is usually the day where they get Q&As from me because I can't do it like randomly. And it's important. And never take your partner for granted. And because usually Patrick and I spend a lot of time together. But for example, right now he's in Germany, I'm in LA. So we are apart from each other for around about like 1.5 months because of business, because I have stuff here. Patrick has stuff in Germany. And then you see what your partner is doing and you see what you're missing. And it's just sometimes also like lonely to sit alone at the table and eat. There's no one you can talk to. So the value of your partner is becoming so much more that I think the most of the people forget about this topic. Yeah.
So I'm assuming that you miss him now.
I do.
Sounds like you do.
Yeah, really. Even after 20 years. And when he's there, probably I will say like, oh my God, it was so much better without you. But yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
What do you think is the most important quality for a partner to have when they're dating someone in the industry? For like those who are in the industry and are struggling to find someone, like what do you think is the one thing that they should look for?
I think they have to be, I know a lot of them try to hide in the beginning what they are doing or make themselves a big thing about it. Like, I don't know if I should tell her, but it has to be like the first thing. Like, hey, listen, this is what I'm doing and I will probably not change it because of you. And honesty is one big thing, but also to make your partner clear that this is your job and there's a private person behind this job. Because obviously we are not like running through our own apartment in high heels, clear high heels, lingerie the whole fucking time. We are also normal people with normal stuff to do. And I think this is really, really important to show a partner you're dating the first time. Listen, what you see in those movies, it's me, yes, and it's a part of me, but that's not all me. So if you think you sign up for this person, you're wrong. So I think there are always two different personas to the, for example, Texas Patti. I mean, I'm still the same, but there's always another side. So if you date people, and if people text you like, oh, I love your movies, I want to date you, probably don't do that. Bad idea.
Wise words.
Yeah.
Any big plans for this year? Any big projects coming up that people should look for?
Yeah, we have. I'm super proud about it. Actually, it got released like a couple of days ago. Patrick and I, we have our own reality TV show in Germany.
Wow.
Yeah, about everything. It's like about the industry, how to become a part of the industry, how relationship works with the industry, what friendship does with you, me at that point. If there are still like friendships from the past, if people just ciao, we're not doing that. Family is a big issue. Do they accept what you're doing? So it's a super honest thing, and it's not this super trashy like showing porn sets and weird stuff. I mean, we show that as well because it's a part of my life.
Right.
But there's also like another part. And sometimes this part is, most of the times, it's super happy. There's a lot of stuff going on. But there's also like always another side from like not Texas Patti, than like from me as a private persona. And so we show all of this, and the first 2 episodes just went on air, and the next 2 are coming next week. And it's only sadly in German television because Netflix didn't have the balls for it. They were like, yeah, no, she's active. We don't do that because we don't want that people watching this, and after that they want to become a part of the porn industry.
Right.
Which is not what I approach in this. Like, I got a super honest question from the producers, like the off things, right? Where they're like, do you recommend anyone to get into the porn industry? And my answer is like, no, because I don't. Because there's a huge responsibility if you sign up for that. Yeah. So, yeah, that's one big project. And if the quotes and everything is great, it goes further. We filmed everything right now only in Germany. But then the transition is to the States. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
It's been such a pleasure. Can you let everybody know where they can find you online,
Sure.
on social media, and maybe if they are in Germany, like what channel they can find that on?
So if you try to find me, follow me. I have my Instagram, which is one word, Texas Patti. I have my Twitter, which is Texas_Patti, TikTok, Texas Patti, one word. And just in case you're in Germany, I will do that in German because it makes only sense for the German guys. Ihr könnt alle auf RTL 2 einschalten und meine Reality-TV-Serie schauen und mal einen Blick hinter die Kulissen bekommen. Am 22.05. wurde das erste ausgestrahlt, 29.05. das zweite Mal, und ihr könnt es auch im Stream bei RTL Plus sehen.
Wow, I feel so cosmopolitan. I don't know if I've had anybody speak a foreign language on my show before.
I'm sorry.
I love that. And you guys can find me on Instagram and on X at Holly Randall. Of course, go to patreon.com/Holly Randall Unfiltered to watch these streamed live, access the bonus Q&As like the one that we're going to do just now after this wraps, and get access to the uncensored versions because I've had to trim some of these interviews just a little bit for YouTube because they don't like the stories to get too wild, but you can get the full interviews on my Patreon. Go to hollylinks.com for access to all of my platforms. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and I will see you next week.